Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Andy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We have a special guest in the building. She's back.
Yes,
Miss
indeed.
Suze Orman. Welcome back.
I'm so happy to be here.
You amped up because your book is #1 on Amazon?
Can you believe it? It came out I think it was yesterday, and it's like, it went to #1. What is that about?
The ultimate
great.
retirement guide for 50-plus winning strategies to make your money last a lifetime. And before we even get started, you actually told me you're going to do something really special for our listeners.
I am, so you better listen to this whole interview to get what I'm going to give you, because this is, listen, I know you think I'm here just to sell you my book, just so that you buy this book. I'm not here. I don't care if you buy this book or not. Go to the library and take it out, right? What I'm really interested in is that you making the most out of your money. And I get that a lot of you aren't 50. I get that a lot of you are younger, but I can tell you one thing. Your mom and your pop, they're not doing well with their money. And if you want to really do something, you better listen up to what we have for you later on, and make sure your parents listen, because when your parents don't have money, no matter what you do with your money, you're going to end up having to take care of your mom and papa, and you aren't going to have any money. So this is for everybody, believe it or not.
And this might influence you as a child, with your parents, to not pressure them to actually give you money too, because you realize how when you read the book, that's not the best thing for everybody involved. And we can sometimes as kids be selfish and want to get bailed out of situations and get money from our parents when we can figure it out on our own.
Yeah. This is the 11th book that I've written. I have over 30 million copies of my books out there.
Go ahead, humble brag.
I'm going to brag it all the way home, because that's a feat unto
Yes, it
itself.
It is.
But the only way that many books are purchased is that the books change the lives of the people that are reading them. And one person tells another person, there ain't enough publicity out there that could sell that many books. But a good book sells itself.
That's right.
And this is a great book.
So what's the best way to financially prepare for retirement?
Start early. Start early. I know, you're young, you're 25, and you're thinking, I have time. I can start saving. Time is the most important ingredient in any financial freedom recipe. And I'll just give you a very quick example. You are 25 and you put $100 a month away into a Roth IRA. And a Roth IRA is in a retirement account after tax. You don't get a tax write-off for it. You fund it after tax money. $100 every month in a Roth IRA, and you put it in the Standard & Poor's 500 index fund, and you do it for 40 years with average market returns of about 12%, annual average returns. You'll have $1 million by the time you are 65, but you wait. You just wait. And you think, $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year. In 10 years, that's only $12,000. What difference can $12,000 make? You start at 35. All right, everybody, what do you think you'll have at the age of 65? You'd have $1 million if you started at 25. What would you have if you started at 35? What do you think?
I would say maybe $600,000.
What do you think, anybody?
I guess $500,000.
I think $250.
Yeah. And
Okay.
You would have $300,000. Those 10 years cost you $700,000, and that is at $100 a month. Nothing makes up for time. So the key is to do it younger. And I get everybody thinks, I want to spend my money when I'm young. I don't want to be old. I'm about to be 69 years of age in the next 3 months. And
Go ahead, Susie.
Huh?
So go ahead.
I'm bragging on everything, on my books and my everything.
As you should.
Right. But life starts when you get older, believe it or not. Because when you have money, when you're older, yeah, baby.
Life is good. You can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. Work. What do you say? Work now. Work now so you can do what you can later. Do what you want later.
Water.
Do what you can now so you can do what you want later.
Yeah, and the other day I was being interviewed by Gail King, and Gail was saying to me, you look happy. Why are you happy? And I said, because I never do anything anymore I don't want to do.
That's what I'm talking about.
And that's what money will allow you to do.
I'm at that point in my life right now too.
Me
But let
too.
me ask you a question. When you 35 years old, or people are listening that's over 35, what do you suggest that they do now? Because it's like you said, they're not 25. They can't do the $100. So what can they do now?
Do $300 or $400 a month. But the main thing that will bring everybody down is debt. And I get it that everybody says don't pay off the mortgage on your home if you're lucky enough to be able to purchase a home, right? Because that's your only tax write-off. If you're going to stay in that home, can you just pay off the mortgage on your home? There's not one seriously wealthy person out there that has a mortgage on their home, no matter how big that mortgage is. So get yourself out of debt, because debt is bondage, and you are never going to be financially independent if you have bondage. So at 35, if you haven't been saving, if you haven't done what you need to do, probably you also have debt. Just make it your number one priority to get out of debt.
I was telling Susie out there that I just paid off my mortgage for my birthday.
Yeah, five.
Yes.
High five.
And, you know, it was something that I always thought about, even when I was younger. How will I ever be able to retire? Because New York City expenses are really high. And a lot of us aren't. And, you know, I was at a point where I wasn't making not even six figures. And you're living check to check. And you're thinking, will I ever be able to retire? And sometimes even when you're living check to check, you also don't even feel like you have an extra $100. But I did start my Roth IRA when I was in my 20s because somebody just, you know, suggested it to me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do it, and just put in a little bit, whatever I could do, and you'd be surprised, like you said, Susie, how much those small numbers can add up over time.
Yeah, something is always better than nothing. And here's the problem. Interest rates are at their all-time low. The market is still relatively at its all-time high, no matter what's happening here right now. Real estate is off the charts everywhere throughout the United States. So there isn't a lot right now that you can do with your money to get it to help you. So you have to help yourself. And the best way to help yourself is by reducing your expenses. When you can't get more from your money, you have to ask less from it. So the best thing that you did, Angela, was to pay off the mortgage on your home.
Everyone kept telling me not to do it.
Of course, because you want to know why, especially financial advisors tell you not to do it? Because when you take that money and you pay off the mortgage on your home, they don't have access to that money to invest for you, so they can't make money off of your hard-earned money. That's why they don't want you to do it, Angela.
What if you want to have cash on hand to invest in something else?
Then you put it right now in a high-yielding savings account. Either you go online and look at them. Bankrate.com will show you them. You go to credit unions. There was a credit union just last week that was giving 3% for a one-year certificate of deposit. Really? Yeah, you check that out and keep your money safe. Don't go into bonds right now, whatever you do.
Okay.
They're not worth it.
How much is it bringing back? You said that savings account. How much interest is it?
Right now, I think
accruing?
they just lowered it to 2.2%. Right? But still, why buy a 10-year Treasury bond at 10.3% when you can keep your money liquid at 2%? Makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I disagree with what you said. But, I mean...
What do you disagree with?
Well, it's a couple of reasons.
The part about paying off your home?
And
When
the reason,
you're,
and the reason being is I'd rather take that money, which I'm doing now, and buy other things and invest in other things. Like, for instance, I bought a school, and the return on that school alone is $32,000 a month profit that I use instead of paying off my loan. And then from that, I buy something else that continues to bring me monthly income.
I agree totally, but what's the number one goal of money?
Don't pay taxes.
No.
I'm just kidding.
To be secure.
To be secure, correct.
To be secure. What made her feel secure is to pay off the mortgage on her home. The more secure she feels, the more powerful she is.
Oh, for
the
her
more
own
powerful
feeling,
she
right.
is, and that's what matters in life. All that matters in life is your own inner power.
Okay.
Right? And so the more powerful she is, the more, and everything's attracted to her, and the more money she will make. Right? For you at your age, when you're young, I will agree, when you're young, the goal isn't to pay off your home when you are 35, 45, or whatever. The goal is absolutely, and I talk about this in big detail in this book, is to have your mortgage paid off by the time you retire.
Yep.
So we're really, Envy, I'm totally in line with you there, but especially for women. Women don't like to speculate. Women want to be safe, sound, and secure. And if that's what they want to do, that's what they need to do.
Absolutely.
You got it.
Is retirement an age or an income?
Say that again.
Is retirement an age or an income?
It's an age, actually.
Okay.
And for many reasons. And again, you know, the first book I ever wrote was when I was 45 years of age. And I'm sure you all remember the story that I was a waitress making $400 a month till I was 30 years of age. And I was 45 writing to people who were 70. Right, 70 years of age. I am now going to be 70 essentially in a year. And now I'm writing to people who are my age. And here's the thing. You can have all the money in the world. And when you stop working, all of a sudden, you have to find another passion in your life. You have to find something to do. So you never really retire. You might retire from what you're doing, but you don't retire from doing something. And for most people, however, realistically, they're going to have to work till at least they're 70. And they shouldn't start. Whatever you do, remember me, what I'm telling you right now, do not take Social Security till you are 70. Make sure your parents do not take Social Security to 70, right? The biggest waste of money if you take it before then.
So if people never truly retire, what is retirement?
Retirement is living your life and doing that which you want, right? It's you, like, all right, I'm essentially retired. At 65, I retired. I closed down the Suze Orman show. I stopped, appearing on writing for Oprah. I stopped everything. And I now live on a private island. And I fish most of the days.
You do the work you want to do.
And I do the work I want to do.
Gotcha.
And when I
put out a book.
Right? And you put out a book. I have a podcast, by the way. My Women in Money podcast and the Men Smart Enough to Listen is so hot, I can't even stand it. And today's episode is all about divorce. So if you're out there, everybody, because this isn't a podcast that's just about do this. I'm not a boring financial money girl. Right? I'm sexy, I'm hot, and I'm good.
There you go.
And the point is
Somebody would love to be your ex-husband.
Right.
With no prenup.
Well, I got a wife right there, sitting
okay.
right there. Right.
Okay.
Do you know I've never been with a man my whole life?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, my whole life. I popped out knowing exactly who I was and
There
what
you
I
go.
was.
From day one.
From day one.
Okay,
From
I'm not
day
mad at that.
one.
You know what? I would say, talk about retiring. My parents retired, and they live a life that I couldn't live. Like I think my mom and dad retired at 55, and they never worked ever again. Like they enjoy life. I couldn't do it. I would drive my wife and kids crazy. I feel like I have to do something. Like something motivates me. Like being up here on this radio doesn't feel like work. I enjoy it.
There you go.
When I do the real estate, I really enjoy it. Like I can't just sit on my hands and do nothing. I can't do it.
And so that is the goal of life. To enjoy your life, to wake up and be happy to see the sun rise and the sun set. Do you know how many people listening to this show right now hate their lives?
Yeah.
They hate who they work for. They hate how they're treated. They hate everything that's happening in the government. They hate everything everywhere.
And can't walk away from it.
And you can't walk away from it. But you can change it. And you can change it by how you change yourself.
Absolutely.
Do you have a prenup?
No, I don't have a prenup.
That's not scary to you?
No, because when I met KT when I was 50, and KT was a seriously wealthy woman at the time that I met her.
Gotcha.
And to this day, we've never joined money. My money is my money. Her money is her money. Upon my death, I leave it all to her and vice versa. But after so many crappy relationships, and even when I had one before that, I didn't know how to draw it up correctly, so it ended up.
Who pays when y'all go out to dinner? It's like who?
That's a great question.
Right. It's normally KT.
I have a rule. My rule is if I'm out with somebody that's richer than me, I let them pay because it's disrespectful for me to reach for my wallet.
Yeah, well, that's a good rule, right?
Yeah.
And when you're usually out with somebody who's richer than you, they normally want to be the ones who play,
Absolutely.
right? And but KT, she's the one who always carries the credit cards
I
and
like
everything.
KT because she also volunteered for you to do some free stuff with me. So
You betcha.
KT was like, "Why don't we do this?" And I was like, "Sure."
So you're having a threesome?
That's my girl. She doesn't charge for threesomes, by the way. No, but we were talking about some other things because next month is Women's History Month, and you were just talking about your podcast and how you said today's episode deals with divorce, and we were talking about financial abuse.
Abuse. I'm big. I started this podcast because of financial abuse. That was the main reason I started it. I had interviewed 7 women, and you can see that interview on the hotline.org, which is the National Domestic Abuse Hotline, which I'm on their advisory board. And they were all women who had survived serious domestic abuse, horrible. And every one of them I'm talking to, and it all started in the same way. Their patterns were identical, and it all started with financial abuse. And I said to them, "So you're financially abused?" And they go, "What is that?" nobody knew what I was talking about. And then I decided something's wrong here, because 1 out of 4 women in the United States of America are financially abused. And once somebody has control over you financially, it turns from financial abuse to emotional abuse to physical abuse. And good luck ever getting out of it.
You know what you should do, Suze? I think
Tell me.
it should be a dope podcast or even a dope book. I think you should talk about the people who do these books, do these seminars, do these conversations, and really play off the hopes of people and really give them nothing.
I hate
Because
that.
you've been doing it, and you know, when I talk to people about you, they really believe in you, and you give them something that they can really take with them. But a lot of people in your situation don't.
I know.
And it burns me so much that they take people's money.
That's
what
a
I-
slippery slope, though.
You know what I really hate, though? I hate when people go out and they charge so much for a seminar. A lot.
30,000,
Are you
20,000,
crazy?
10,000.
Is anybody crazy out there?
People do it.
I know.
They have credit card companies there
I know.
to give people credit.
Drives me
to pay.
crazy.
It drives me crazy.
So I think maybe now's a good time to give everybody something.
Okay,
What
let's
do you
do
think?
it to show.
Listen, I love this book more than, and this is the first book I've written in 9 years, and I love this book more than anything in life, especially for those who are 50, 60, 70, and older. And if you're younger than that, don't go buying this book unless you want to give it to your parents, because it's not for you. However, maybe you want to give it to your parents, or maybe you want to listen to it. So you have till midnight tonight. 12 p.m., well, or 12 a.m., midnight
Yeah,
tonight.
12 a.m..
Right. On the 27th here we are.
28.
In February Pacific time.
28.
28.
Oh,
28.
it's the 28th.
It's there
All
tomorrow.
right, the 28th Pacific time tonight to go to Suze Orman Audio. That's SUZE audio.com. And you can register there and you can get a free download of this audio book. And it is 12 hours and 30 minutes of me just ripping it. Because I didn't go into an audience and just read this book to you. That would be boring. I go into this, the audio booth, and I preach to you the entire time. I tell you stories that aren't in the book. It's fabulous. You'll have 30 days to listen to it. Because I know you're just going to download it probably and not go back to it. I'm going to give you 30 days after you've done this today to actually sit your booty down and listen to the advice in this. And it's free.
Give them the website again.
It's Suze, S-U-Z-E, Orman, O-R-M-A-N, audio, AUDIO.com.
Question: is generational wealth even an achievable goal for middle class people nowadays?
It's not easy. There's a highway into, there's a highway into poverty, and there's not even a sidewalk out. Truthfully, I know.
Yeah.
But that's reality, and we have to do something about that because nobody else cares. I care. Nobody else cares. And, but generation, I have to believe if my life became what my life became, right? Like, I was dyslexic, never got a grade above a C. My mama, you know the story. My mama was sold Avon and was a secretary. My dad was always sick. He died when I was like really young. None of it. I was always meant to be a waitress. And look at my life now.
Right.
So if that can happen to me, it can happen to anybody, but you have to want it.
Now talk about that. Now, like you said, you should, quote unquote, you should have been a waitress, but you weren't. What made you drive, and what will you tell people? Because a lot of people look at this and be like, yes, I'm from the projects. My parents are not there. I only make an hourly wage. I can't afford to go to school. What gave you that drive to be like, I can do it? What was that turning point?
Not having money. But it was like, remember, I'm from the south side of Chicago, right? I grew up right in that hood, 81st and Oglesby, and again, the only white face in a sea of black. And it was like, I just thought that was what I was supposed to do. And I worked hard for 7 years as a waitress, making $400 a month till I was essentially 30. I wanted to start my own restaurant. I had this dream of just my own restaurant because this restaurant made so much money off of my ideas. My mom and dad didn't have any money to give me. The customers I had waited on for all those years gave me $50,000 to open my own restaurant. Had me put it in a Merrill Lynch account and leave it there till they could help me. And to make a long story short, I had a crooked broker at Merrill Lynch and all $50,000 was lost.
A high-risk stock.
He bought options,
Yeah.
right, which was the most speculative thing you could do. But again, to make a long story short, these people didn't have a lot of money. These were salespeople. These were they had no money, and I needed to pay them back. So I thought, I can do that. I can lose people like money like that. And they hired me. I went to just apply for a job because I was desperate now. How do you pay somebody back $50,000 when you're making $400 a month? And so I went and I applied for a job, and they hired me to fill their women's quota. There were no women in the Oakland office in Merrill Lynch at that time. And the manager told me women belong barefoot and pregnant. And he would fire me in 6 months, though. And I asked him how much he would pay me to make me pregnant, because I was sassy back then too, right? And he told me $1,500 a month, and I said, I'll take it, because I knew in 6 months I would make at least $9,000, which would take me 2.5 years at the Buttercup Bakery to make. And I went in, and what was so fabulous, I took the job, is that the operations manager was also gay. And I never hid the fact that I was gay. And so he resonated with me, and he came up to me and he said, Suze, what happened to you was illegal. Call this lawyer and he'll represent you. And so I figured, great. So I sued Merrill Lynch while I was working for them, because I thought he's going to fire me anyway, but because I sued them, they couldn't fire me.
Wow.
And now I'm working, and by the time the suit came to court, I was their number 6 producing broker. So it wasn't like it was meant to be.
Right.
But God had a bigger plan for me.
Absolutely.
And I followed his plan.
There you go.
And I follow his plan to this day.
That's right.
And, and I know that God put that book number 1 on Amazon, because there's no reason. There wasn't enough publicity behind this book yet for that book to be number 1 on Amazon. There's nothing out there yet. Like, I have a PBS special starting this weekend that will probably do it, but that hasn't started yet. So when we looked at it, we went, seriously, we were in the elevator and we went, no. I said, can you check? Nobody believed it. I was
It's
like,
been 9 years,
believe
though,
in the
Suze.
name.
People wanted that book. It's
They
been
believe in the
9
name.
years.
9
they
years.
see Suze Orman, they're like, okay, let's get
yeah,
this
but
book.
I'm telling, look, I got goosebumps right now, right? And in India, they say, because I'm also a student of scriptures. I study scriptures and Indian scriptures, which is where many things have come from. And they say when you get goosebumps, it's because God's speaking the truth. And see, we got a look. Right?
You got him right now. Your head's standing up on your
I
arms.
got goosebumps over what?
Question: Do finances play a role in who you choose to vote for?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like who's gonna do what for the economy type stuff?
And I'll tell you what. Yes, of course. And here's the problem, everybody. You gotta vote for somebody who cares about people that aren't just white. You got to care about everyday people.
As a black person, it's hard to tell who that is.
All right. And I don't even know now who to vote for. I mean, I'm totally confused. I mean, obviously, I'm going to vote Democrat. I'd be dead before I voted for a Republican. At this point, being that the Republican is Trump, I would just kill myself, right, before I did that. But I'm so confused now because it's like they're all hating one another, and I hate that. How do you create on a foundation of hate?
Yeah.
How do you create out of a foundation of destruction? I don't know what to do about that.
There's nobody you like?
Listen, if I were going to probably vote for, I would love, obviously, if Mayor Pete won.
Yeah.
Right? Just,
Like
I
Mayor
would. He's young, he's different, he's middle of the road, and he cares, and he's been it there.
And he has an honesty about him.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he went and he fought for our country. He fought for our country. Seems like everybody else is fighting for themselves. So if I could vote for anybody, it would be Mayor Pete. And I've only given money to one candidate, and it's to Mayor Pete.
Okay.
Right? But out of everybody else that's there, I mean, Amy is probably middle of the road and cares, but she's not going to make it, I don't think. And so, who's going to win against Trump? I don't know. Bloomberg could probably, Biden maybe, but they all have such.
But whoever the candidate is, you'll support.
Of course. Are you kidding me? I don't. Anybody. You don't want Trump to win. You just don't. Because let me tell you, if you're a kid and you have student loan debt, have any of you looked at the budget that was just presented by President Trump? Right? It cuts, right? There's something called public student loan forgiveness, that if you have all the student loan debt and you go to work for a nonprofit, you work for 10 years, they'll forgive your debt. He wants to get rid of that.
Even as a teacher, right? Won't they do that if you're a teacher?
And that's going to be gone Totally gone. Next thing, subsidized student loans. You take out a Stafford loan, you go to school, and if you qualify for it, for the 4 years you're in school, you don't have to pay interest on those loans. You don't have to pay them for 6 months afterwards. He wants to get rid of those. Your different pay-as-you-go options. He wants to get rid, there's 4 of them right now, pay-as-you-go, right? He wants to get rid of 4 of them. Wow. He has cut the budget so dramatically for student loans that the one future of this country, which lies in our children and their ability to go to school and get an education, he's sticking it to them in the rear end. And if he wins again, and if we lose the Senate and we lose the House, they're going to pass that.
Absolutely.
They're going to pass that. So if you care about the future of America, if you care about your kids, if you care about them being able to graduate at all a university, you better know where you're voting for. I do a whole podcast on this. Big time, breaking it down.
So Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, them wanting to tax the rich, the inheritance taxes, none of that scares you?
Yeah, no, it doesn't scare me. They can tax me all they want, and I'm more than happy. I don't care about that. Right?
You care about people.
I care about people. But want to hear how people get screwed when that happens? See, here we go again. Right? Is that when you really tax the corporations and everybody, what do? They pass that down to who? The people that buy their products, right? The people that consume whatever it is that they have, right? So if you think that simply taxing the rich is going to solve the problem and you're going to be able to do all of this with it,
I'm going to just make my products. I'm going to raise the price of my products.
That's right. Yeah. So you can do that if you want. But you're not going to help the people who don't have everyday money. And to just get rid of all the student loans, there are people out there that have a lot of money that are going to student loans or that are going to school. They should not have their loans forgiven. If you make under a certain income, if your family wealth is under a certain amount, and that amount can be a few $100,000, doesn't have to be poverty levels. But if you're a multimillionaire and your kids are going to these $50,000 a year schools, and all of a sudden you know that student loan debt is going to be forgiven, then guess what? You aren't going to pay for your kid to go to school. You're going to have them take out a student loan so it can be forgiven. So it's not all or nothing. Yeah. There's got to be a middle road. And they're not middle roads enough for me.
No, it's not. Not enough moderates.
They're just not. Because everybody deserves to have a voice, not just the progressives and the left and everybody. So you have to be middle of the road.
Because if you're being honest with yourself, you got a little conservative in you, you got a little liberal.
Yeah, of course.
You right there.
Listen, I'm a capitalist. I don't have a problem with that. I love making money. And I give millions of dollars away all the time. All the time. And I love that I'm able to do that.
That's right.
I love that. On my death and KT's death, 95% of my estate, and it is a substantial estate, goes to charity. Goes to charity. Right, so...
There's this great charity called Seed of God World, LLC.
Yeah.
Just write them in.
Didn't I get an email from you guys a while ago? No, seriously.
Oh, it's probably for Change for Change.
Was that Change for Change?
Yes.
And I wrote a check.
We do that every year.
Did you write a check?
Yes.
They didn't tell us that. Did they tell us that? You did?
Yeah, we did. We spoke about it.
Well, thank you, Suze.
Well, thank you, Suze. We appreciate that.
That went to a good
Thank you
cause.
so
That even
much.
went to, it must have been, let me see, Brandon Marshall Mental Health Foundation.
No, this year was...
the HBCU, Thurgood Marshall.
The HBCU, Thurgood
And is
Marshall
that your
Fund.
favorite charity?
We do a
different
different
one
charity.
every year.
What's your favorite charity?
Anything mental health related.
Yeah, all right. I'll send you a check for $10,000 to the one you named.
No, you don't have to.
Why not?
I could. You know what?
there you
Black
go.
Men Hill. There's an organization called Black Men Hill, and what they do is they provide free therapy for black men in the Philadelphia area.
All right, fine. You make sure I have the place to do it, and I'll send you a check tomorrow.
R to Roger P. Henson's foundation, the
All
Boris
right, let's
Lawrence
think
Henson
about this.
Foundation.
Right.
No, we don't get it.
discuss it, yeah.
For real.
But really, you just
Yeah.
said, but that's what having money, goosebumps again.
Yeah.
So that means if we just did the right thing, right? That's what money allows you to do.
Absolutely.
Right,
So
absolutely.
stop, Bernie, with this thing about Bloomberg, that he's a billionaire, so whatever. There's only one thing that he said that I really didn't like.
Who's that?
Bloomberg, right? When he said the other day, he said, yeah, I have a lot of money and I worked hard for it. boyfriend, you don't even know what working hard means, right? None of us do. When you think about the 3 and 4 jobs that single mothers
that's
have to
right.
go out
Right.
and do 23 hours a day to take care of their kids. They have to sleep on the floor, and they're all sharing a 2-bedroom apartment. Are you kidding me?
That's right.
That's hard, because it's not only are you working, but you're not getting ahead. You worked your butt off, I have no doubt, on a certain level, Mike, but look at the money you were getting, and that propelled you.
Right, the
And
reward and-
right. But when there's nothing out there and there's no hope, now we're talking hard. Now we're talking hard.
Well, Susie, we appreciate you
Yeah,
for
we know
joining
you
us.
have to go, but you got to come more often. So.
Absolutely.
Hey, like I got to tell you, I was surprised that like the PR person's out there, and she'll tell you the truth. I said, they really want me back?
Of course.
What do you mean?
All the
Well, I'm
time.
just saying, because your audience, I knew the book was 50 plus. I know that's really not your audience. And I'm like, and I don't like to talk to an audience about something that they can't use.
Well, I don't want
They
to
can
brag, but Breakfast Club 18 to 24 were like top 3 and 25-54.
All right, so
Yeah, so-
you download that book, everybody. You buy that book, everybody. But most important, rather ever, you listen to my Women and Money podcast, and the men smart enough to listen.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
you
much.
got to come back because I had a million more questions. So we got to do this more often.
All right, sweethearts. All right,
All
thank
right.
you.
It's Susie Orman. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.